Mr. Investor, welcome back to the channel, baby. We are back in business. Ooh, Bionano Genomics pre-market is looking juicy. And the haters are gonna hate, but since our earnings call, how has it been? Oh my goodness, 26% up. Jon Snow said winter is coming. It ain't winter, baby, it's the reversal. Thank you, mom. Blockbuster hit. Ooh, the streets are cold, but Sapphire is burning hot. So today, guys, we got a nice juicy video for you today. It's a little bit of a due diligence. As you guys know, some institutions, some universities, and some cytogenetic laboratories are using Sapphire hand in hand with PacBio. Today we're going to be talking about some of the people, the institutes that use our Sapphire machine and what they're up to. I'm also going to be talking about some interesting movements in certified service providers that currently use Bionano Genomics, Sapphire. And I've got a before and after of institutional ownership. This one is dated from the 14th of May, and 3 days later I've got an updated one, so you guys are going to enjoy. I'd like to say a big thank you to all of my cowboys, everybody that supports this channel. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for joining channel memberships, the Patreon group, and if you haven't already joined, it's only 99 cents above my head. It really helps me to create content, so please consider joining. But if you're unable to, just you hitting the like button and clicking subscribe on this video means the world to me. Drop me some comments, let me know your thoughts and feelings on what I find here today, and always remember, none of this is financial advice, it's for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so today I'll tell you my plan. First thing I'm gonna do as well, I just got a little paycheck coming, a little bit of shmoney, so I'm gonna be buying some more Bionano Genomics stock. I think I'm gonna be able to buy maybe about 70 shares today. So over on tip ranks now, we can see it's still a strong buy Bionano Genomics at this prices. The analysts are predicting, 114% upside at $12 per share in the next 12 months. This can potentially be a high of $14 over here. The average is $12 and a low of $10. So 3 of them are saying bye bye bye. Next, if you guys have been here for a while, you know this. Welcome Sanger Institute. You know they're using Bionano Genomics Sapphire. For those of you that are new, I'll prove it to you here. Make sure you go onto the Welcome Sanger Institute website, type in long read sequencing, and if you go downwards, you'll see Pacific Biosciences, Oxford Nanopore, and Bionano Genomics over here talking about using the Sapphire instrument for genome mapping. When they're talking about our service, they're saying that the team here offers optical mapping service, allowing rapid, high throughput, long range genome mapping using the Sapphire. And there's some really interesting stuff coming out from these guys. So they recently spoke about the vertebrate genome project. They're trying to map out the genomes of vertebrates around the world. They were talking about the vertebrate genome project. There's literally millions of species that have yet to be discovered, but the species that we know of, what they want to do is actually map out around about 70,000 living vertebrate species, right? So if we look at Arang Ree here, there's a quote from them, and they are basically an author at the National Human Genome Research Institute, and Arang Ree said that it was truly a challenge to design a pipeline applicable to highly diverged genomes. Check this out. Our largest genome, which was about 5 GB in size, gigabase, broke almost every tool commonly used in assembly processes. So these animal genomes, some of them are so large that they bust out all the tools. All of them became broken. Apart from the Sapphire has a 6-pack. Welcome to Cytopia, baby. They're actually working on so much more. They're not just working on animals and vertebrates, they're also focusing on fungi and plants. And check this one out. During the earnings call, Eric Homlin spoke about India reaching out for C19, and we can see here there's a Metro article here. It's a UK newspaper, and they were talking about the Indian C19 variant that was found in the UK, and there's 4 hotspots, and the Welcome Sanger Institute was the one that was actually tracking it in the UK. So they've been tracking the variant spread in England with the help from Public Health England. And if we go back in time about a year ago, March 31st, 2020, this Globe Newswire article was released, and CNN Business then covered it. They spoke of Bionano Genomics supporting the largest study to date on C19's disease susceptibility. So they were comparing, and they were looking at disease progression in certain people, and they were looking at drug response too for C19. Now let's look at what else Welcome Sanger is currently doing. When they talk about the world of research and they talk about, putting data together, Welcome Sanger is actually looking at multi-drug resistance of E. coli. This is super important. I'm going to tell you why in a second. So some of you guys may know this. E. coli is a certain type of bacteria that is found in the lower intestine of warm-blooded organisms. E. coli can cause severe stomach cramps, diarrhea, vomiting, and quite often the diarrhea is actually bloody. When people get this diarrhea as well, they can die of dehydration. Some of them can die within the hospital. So because of this research, there was one study that took 16 years in Norway. The researchers have successfully tracked the spread of the antibiotic resistant genes. So there are certain genes that these E. coli strains have that make them resistant to antibiotics. You can see here the Wellcome Sanger Institute is now tracking multi-drug resistance in Norway. They've now found it also in the UK, and that although the resistant strains developed around the same time, it increased more rapidly in the UK population. It's important to track these strains because if these strains start to develop in UK populations, if you get sick and if you get this E. coli strain, they can't give you certain drugs because they're ineffective, they're resistant to it. And this poses a significant threat in hospitals where it can cause severe infection and mortality. So what else are Wellcome Sanger doing? Well, on May 17th, 2021, they are actually tracking and looking at drug-resistant typhoid as well. And they are utilizing genomics to find a new way to battle against it. So they are tracking Salmonella typhi. It's a bacterium that causes typhoid fever. I actually had this once in Philippines, nearly died. Now I'm just being dramatic, but I got very, very sick. Apparently, this bacteria can be found in the poo. So I drank some poopy water somewhere in the Philippines and it got me sick, baby. I was a kid, but I was hospitalized for about a week. I think I actually got this because I drank some infected water in one of my neighbor's houses. It was in a poverty-stricken area as well. So what's happening here is the University of Oxford is working together with Wellcome Sanger Institute, London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, University of Cambridge, and Public Welfare England, as well as the International Vaccine Institute. It's important that they're working on this because typhoid fever is a highly contagious bacterial infection. 2017, more than 10 million cases and 110,000 deaths were estimated globally. Yet again, another bacteria that is becoming increasingly resistant to the antibiotics that we have available today. So the big point that I'm making here is if these guys are utilizing, Pacific Biosciences, Oxford Nanopore, Bionano Genomics, Sapphire, and if these guys are getting contracts to actually track, research, and actually work on lots of different bacteria, diseases, fungi, plants, and all of the animal projects like the Vertebrate Genome Project, which maps out 70,000 different vertebrates, there are still 5 million species to actually map out, and they can't do it without the Sapphire machine. So what does this mean? This means cash flow for years to come because they're going to continue to use it for research purposes. And with so much to research and constantly having to research every year as bacteria changes, as lots of animals and species also change in their genomic profiles, and we discover all of these different species within the oceans too. Look at all of these creatures. They got vampire squid, Japanese spider crabs, frilled shark, look at that geezer, even the blobby fish. They're stating 86% of land species, 91% of sea species remaining undiscovered. This means shmoney cash flow for many years to come. So now let's go to Bionano Genomics certified service providers. Let's scroll down and you'll see Corteva AgriScience. So what have these guys been up to lately? I'm going to show you. So these guys currently are a certified provider for Bionano Genomics, Sapphire, and they have now signed a deal with Bngo. They've signed an agreement on genome editing. So Bngo is actually a Dutch vegetable seed breeder, and Bngo has now signed this agreement with Corteva, which gives them access to this game-changing CRISPR-Cas9 intellectual property. They're going to be using it for the meantime for research purposes only, but what they want to do is utilize and use genome editing for agricultural use, allowing research work and programs as well as future commercial applications. So why I think this is important to us is they currently use Corteva Bionano Genomics. They're a certified provider that focuses on agricultural genomics, and they have extensive experience in a wide range of plants and animals. If you go into their investor presentation and we take a look at their 2021 start, their net sales have actually increased by 6%. They're heavily focused on seeds. They're also focused on production of fungicides, insecticides, herbicides, pesticides, all the sides, baby. Get me that corn on the cob KFC side. They are constantly researching, so they want to build, these kind of crops that have high yield and take up low land mass. They want small spaces but high yield of crops. So for their guidance for the full year of 2021, they're saying at the midpoint they're expecting their sales to be up about 3.5% overall in their net sales. They would have accumulated around about $14.6 to $14.8 billion. They continue to grow as a business, and they will continue to research for many years to come and utilize Bionano Genomics Sapphire so they can stay ahead of the competition, and they have a lot of services that they can provide to all of their clients. In order for someone to actually genetically edit as well and wanting to produce, these kinds of strains, these kinds of vegetables and seeds and fruits that are the juiciest, that are going to be the most disease resistant, that will give them the highest yield, the highest profit. You can see here that have disease resistance and also focusing on sustainability. A lot of farmers actually want to grow their crops in a more sustainable way, and with our global population currently growing, we need to find ways that we can actually fulfill that demand because there's an increase in demand for healthy foods. So we have all of these challenges. So I believe alongside all of the genetic editing we're going to see in the future, they are also going to need to utilize all of the other instruments in order to develop innovative solutions for growers. Oh yeah, you see see that sweet corn on the cob, baby. So now let's talk about institutional ownership and how it's grown out. So I think about a month ago or a few months ago, we had only like 69 institutional owners. This one is actually from May the 14th. So as you can see here, there was 112 here, and recently updated May the 14th. So as of May the 17th, let's go to the new one. Oh my God, we now have 133 institutional owners. Our institutional share ownership, take a look at this, 15.13% now. And if we scroll down, let's take a look at this. Citadel Advisors is now in Bionano Genomics with a new position, 2.5 million shares in a new position. How crazy is that? So all these greens you see below are new positions. Some of them have opened small positions, even 25 shares here, 200 shares here, just to keep a hold of Bionano Genomics, and they could actually build out bigger positions in the future. So all of these smaller positions could become greater built out positions in the future, and we also could see a lot more institutions opening up juicy positions. So take a look at this one. This is Invesco Limited. They opened up their first initial position with Bionano Genomics on the 17th of May. The same day, all of these have now reported, and this could be any 45 days before, by the way, because it's a 13F form, but it's 4.1, nearly 4.2 million shares worth of Bionano Genomics. Goldman Sachs is now on board with 200,000 shares. This one's another big player. I see this name everywhere. Susquehanna International Group. They've now increased their share ownership by 23,000%, bringing them up to a total of 2.5 million shares. And if you look at it, yeah, their average share price, a lot of them are $5.58, $5.59. As well, a few days ago on the 14th of May, when we saw Vanguard Group actually report that they've increased their share ownership, they had this at such a low price, but they've actually averaged up. So some of these institutions are willing to average up, and if they trade on multiples and they're saying that their average share price is $5.58 now, what do they think Bionano Genomics will become in the future? That is the question. What do they value Bionano Genomics at in, you know, the next 5 years, 8 years, 10 years? Because if these guys trade off multiples, damn baby, this could be very juicy for us, especially for some of you guys that have come into this stock and you have this stock at 50 cents, or some of you guys have averaged down from $15, like I've been averaging down from $10, $11, and now I'm building out bigger, juicier positions every single week with Bionano Genomics. So I'm still putting stuff together for a summary of what I think is going to happen with Bionano Genomics, how I found the earnings call, and a kind of summary of everything that was collated within there, how we're going to be moving towards our milestones too. But I want to know your thoughts and feelings, so tell me, what do you think Bionano Genomics is worth? What is it worth to you? What are your current average share prices? Let me know. Lastly, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Thank you for bearing with me when I'm out there, I'm grinding, I'm working. I try and research as much as I can and bring it back to you guys. So thank you for all your love and support. Thank you to everybody that sends me donations offline as well. You guys mean the world to me. All you guys supporting me helps me to find good research and bring it back to you guys, for you to make sense of it and choose what you want to take from the links that we find here. And please remember, none of this is financial advice, it's for entertainment only. If you're able to support the channel, please click the join button above my head. You can join any tier on the channel and it really helps me create good content. But if you're unable to, just you hitting the like and clicking subscribe on this video means the world to me. Thank you so much. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Mr. Invest a Lot, over and out, baby.